Welcome everybody to Crypto Rosetta. My name is Savage. Today we're going to be having a look at ADA. This is going to be a lower time frame video. We do have our higher time frame video up above, so check that out if you haven't already. Let's get into the charts and see what's going on. Okay, so we're going to go over the higher time frame idea here. What we were saying is that this could potentially be a fourth wave into this high. Now our target area for fourth wave is between this 62.65 to this 37.71. Now, if this is actually just a completed fourth wave into this high, what we'd be looking for would be a 5-wave move to the downside. Possible target, this 20 cents 59 to this 1604. Now, the problem that we have currently within this count is this isn't making a lot of sense, this move to the downside here, unless we're going to get something like a diagonal pattern, in which case what we'd be saying is that our fourth wave is completed here, and what we're treating this as a bigger ABC for wave 1. Looking at this as a wave 2, and then we're looking for another 3-wave move to the downside. Now, if this is the case, what we would want to see is a 5-3-5 move to the downside, looking for this wave 3. Now, the problem that I have currently within this structure is it's not making a lot of sense internally within this. So unless we start to get some extension where we actually see that this is 1, 2, and then we get a bigger 3rd, 4th, and a 5th, see a 3-wave move up, and then another 5-wave move down. You know, this is not looking as likely currently, but it is still technically possible, so we're looking out for this potential. Now, the other way that we can argue that this could actually still be within the fourth wave here, there's two ways that we can look at this. So we could argue that within the structure, we could be forming a flat correction, in which case what we'd be saying is that from further back here, we have this is an A wave, this is a B wave, and we're looking for this C wave to the upside. Now, at the moment, given the current structure up, it's not looking very likely that this is going to be a C wave, but it is also possible this could be 3, 3, and then 3 waves up as a bigger WXY. So that's what I'm keeping an eye on here. The only way I can currently see this is if we have this as 1, 2, 1, 2 here, but then it becomes very unlikely because of the size difference of these two wave 2s. The alternative would be, would look for something like a diagonal pattern to the upside, looking to come and move back up here towards this A wave high, potentially looking for this 42.46 if this is going to be a running flat, or alternatively if we're going to get an expanding flat, looking for this higher C wave target here between the 63.76 to this 49.59. Now, if we're looking at this as a flat, like I said, we want to see 5-wave structure, but it is also possible this could be 3, we get 3 waves down, and then we still see another 3-wave move to the upside, in which case a common target area would be between this 1 to 1 here and this area here of this 5.459. So we'll be watching these different levels here, and I'm going to be keeping an eye on this A wave high if we do start to see this actually looking to play out. Now, the other way we were discussing this, which is looking quite likely at the moment, this is actually my favorite count here, looking at this potentially as a triangle. Now, if this is a triangle, what we'd be saying here is that this is A, B, C, and we're looking for this D wave to confirm. Now, currently within the structure here, it's quite choppy, so I'm looking at the potential that what we have here is a bigger W, an X, and a Y. Now, if this is the case, the most common area for a D wave target is this 27.11 to this 24.73. If we're looking at this as a 3-wave move down here, we want to find support in this area. Invalidation of this as a triangle comes by either crossing this 22 cent region or by moving back above this A wave high at this 46.17. So what we'd be looking for here would be 3 waves to the downside, 3 waves back to the upside for an E wave, and then seeing that 5th wave continue to the downside. Now, this could also potentially be a bigger B wave here, so we need to also be aware of that, because the flat and the triangle idea fit into our alternate count here, where what we're saying is that from further back, instead of looking at this as a 5-wave move, we can also potentially argue that this is WXYX, and then we're looking for a Z wave. Now, if this is a Z wave, what we're saying is that this is our A wave, we're looking for a B wave, and then we're looking for this C wave to the downside. Now, if this is a C wave, once again, we can look at that idea of that diagonal to the downside. Alternatively, if this is still a triangle, it could still be within this B wave, and then we'd still be looking for that C wave to the downside afterwards. Now, if we're looking at this as ABC, 1 to 1 is actually here towards this 1859, and if we're looking at the previous W wave targets, we have 1 to 1 sitting here, which we've already actually hit here, but the problem is the structure that we came down in isn't great. So I would still be looking out if this is the case, so we could still see a drop down back towards this 1236 or this 1382 over here. So these are our downside targets here for these moves at the moment. like I said, it's not clear whether this is still within this B wave and we're looking to break down, or alternatively we could be looking to form something like that diagonal. So the way that I'm going to look at the internals now, we're going to go over the idea that we're still within that corrective structure up, and then also the idea that we could see this look to break down in that diagonal pattern. In the previous video, what we were talking about was the potential that we could have this as 1, 2, and then we're looking for this as 1, 2 into this point. But now that we've actually seen this move out further here, it becomes very unlikely that this is still the case here. And effectively, I would much rather just look at this as a 3-wave move up here, or alternatively a W, an X, and a Y. Now, if we do start to see this move holding above the low here, and we see another zigzag pattern to the upside, which is not longer than this wave 1, then effectively we could look at the potential of a diagonal here. Now, if we, however, just start to see impulsive movement to the upside, and we do hit this 1618 level, I will still be looking out for this possibility. It would be very strange, though, to have this wave 2 so much bigger, but it is sometimes possible to see strange things happening like this, particularly if this wave 3 would be looking to extend further than this 1618 level. So we're going to have to keep an eye on this. Invalidation of this comes by crossing this 2781, and it's looking quite likely to invalidate, so we're going to have to keep an eye on that. But effectively, it is still a possibility here. Alternatively, what we could have is something along these lines where we're forming this as wave 1. We're looking for this as a wave 2. Now, our most common target area for this is between this 50% and this 786. Invalidation is this low here, which is sitting towards us 2204, and what we'd want to see is 3 waves up, 3 waves down, and then seeing another 3-wave move to the upside here. Now, if we're going to be looking at this in this way, effectively this wave 3 would not be allowed to cross the 1-to-1 of this wave 1. Now, depending on how deep we come here, this would change. If we look at where we currently are, this would be this 4872. So what we'd be then expecting is a 3-wave move looking to form something like this here, where we get this diagonal pattern forming in a contracting wedge shape. If this does play out, then we're going to be looking for those C-wave targets that we went over earlier, discussing that idea of the flat, which would be up here towards a zone of either this 1-to-1, if it's going to be the shorter variation of this, where we're going to see a running flat, or alternatively, we could see price looking to push up into this area here of this 1236 to this 1382 zone. So we're going to be watching this as a potential 5-wave move still to the upside here. We do have potential, but we need to actually see it play out. Now, if this move is also not completed to the downside here, what we could see more locally is the potential that this is in a bigger W, X, and a Y. Now, looking at the structure that we have here, this could be W, this could be X, and we could be looking at this as ABC. So ideally here, until we actually break back over this 3190, I'm going to be on the lookout that within this structure, we could potentially have this as a 5-wave structure here for an A wave. We're looking for a B wave, and then we could still look for this C wave down. Now, the 1-to-1 target of this would actually be here towards this 2688. Now, this would be based off of coming back up into this golden pocket area. If we had to move down directly from this point, even though it wouldn't be likely, because if we are looking for a B wave here, I would like to see something a bit more substantial forming, but that would be towards this 2601. Now, what I want to see here effectively is if we are looking at this structure in this way, I want to see price actually have this 3-wave move to the upside here, and then we want to see another 5-wave move to the downside. If we, however, see this 5-wave move past this 2490 zone, we need to be very careful, because this could then become 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and then that would put us in a tricky situation here, because we can potentially count this as A, B, C, D, E as a triangle, and then we have this as just a plain ABC pattern, which is fine. But if we do start to move down deep enough here, it could be that this is actually 1, 2, we have 1, 2, 1, 2 here. This all becomes a 3rd wave, we get a 4th and a 5th, and we just continue to extend out. So this is why I'm being very careful. There's a couple of ways we can look at this current structure here. So if we fail to break back above this 3190, then it becomes likely that we're going to see another move to the downside in this way. Now, if we are looking at this in this case where this is either A, B, and C, and we're going to see a continuation to the upside, or alternatively where this is going to become 1, 2, and then we're going to see another zigzag to the upside for that 3rd wave that we went over. Effectively, the idea is the same. As long as we actually hold above this low, we have the potential to see another push to the upside. Now, if we are looking at it in this way as a corrective pattern, What we also need to be aware is there is a way of counting this into this low here, and we would be saying then we could potentially look to move up from this B wave. Now we came down towards this 50%, which is sitting here at this 28.89. Now ideally what I'd like to see here, if this is going to be playing out in this way, where what we say here is we have this is A, this is B, and what we're looking for is the potential that within this we have this is 1, 2, 3 into this low, so zigzags making this whole structure up. What we want to see here is a smaller fourth wave and then another 3-wave move down. So if we see something like this, effectively what I'd be looking for would be a small move to the upside in a 3-wave pattern here. Now this trend line is just kind of drawn on here. It doesn't have anything hard and fast that is holding this in this location, but effectively what I'd want to see is a 3-wave move to the upside and then seeing this 3-wave structure to the downside. Now if this is the case, what we could see is that price could then rather be pushed towards this 1-to-1 level, which is sitting here at this 26.35. This would be an interesting zone to me because it would be coming through this golden pocket. It would also be looking to challenge some of these lows that we've got over here towards this level of this 26.71 and this 26.06. So if we do see price looking to follow this count instead, what we could see is a 3-wave move up and then a 3-wave move down, and that could look to actually complete this as ABC. Now the key thing is here that if we do see something like this as a diagonal pattern here, we're going to have to be very careful that we don't get this as 1, we get 2, and then we start to continue to the downside, or alternatively this becomes ABC here, and then we see another 3-wave move up and then that continuation to the downside. So we're going to have to watch that if we do actually form this in this way, but effectively what this is looking for is the idea that instead of looking at this as a 5-wave structure up, we could be looking at this as 3, 3, and then we're looking for another move to the upside in a C wave. Now the ideal target off of where we currently are would actually be here towards the zone of this 4882. If we come down one more time, like I said, towards that 618 level, this would push us up towards this 4661. So I'm going to be watching these internals here to see if we actually get this as just a corrective move up, and then we look to break down in just another 3-wave move, which would align with this idea here that this whole move is just a bigger corrective pattern as an A, B, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But like I said, we need to be aware there are a few ways of counting this. We could also argue that this is a W, this is a X wave here, and we look at this as our A wave, this is a B and a C. So until we actually break back above this level here of this 3190, I would be cautious that we could still see another low come into place here, and from that point we'd have to see how we react. One thing we do have to be careful of here in the more bearish situation, where we're saying that we could be looking for a 5-wave move from the top here, where this becomes 1, 2, and then we have a series of 1s and 2s in here, is the fact that we could start to extend out. So looking at this move slightly different, I'm going to be watching out for this potential where we have this is 1, 2, 1, and then we get a smaller 3-wave move to the upside, and then we start to break down in a bigger structure. Now the key thing here is 786 to this 50% is going to be what we are looking for as a potential target as this wave 2. As long as we stay below this 3120, this is a danger. Now if we do see just a 3-wave move to the upside here in this way, effectively what we could then see is that this move could become 1, we get 2, and then if we start to see 5 waves developing to the downside, we actually start to hit this 2, 5, 4, 3. This would align then with the fact that this move is starting to extend out in a 5-wave structure. Now, if we do start to see something along these lines where this is starting to extend to the downside like this, this would start to make more sense that we are looking to form something like the diagonal pattern here, where we're saying that we're looking for this wave 3 to the downside. So we'll have to keep an eye on this. If we do see this move actually play out in a 5-wave move down, we could get a 3-wave move up and then form this additional 5-wave structure for this 3rd wave. So that's what I'm looking for here on sort of the medium term here, if we continue to break down impulsively. But we don't have any confirmation of that. The ideas still remain the same here. If we do get a 3-wave move to the upside here, and we look to just have another 3-wave move down and take this low, then the diagonal idea could be in play. If we do see 3 waves to the upside here, and we get a 5-wave move to the downside, but not deep enough to actually hit that impulsive level, what we could then have is that this is just the corrective WXY, where this is an A, B, and a C 1-to-1 target at this 2688. If, however, now we start to break to the upside and we start to take these highs, then it's possible that we could actually just have this as a completed move. And then what we'd be looking for would be more evidence. So we're looking for that possibility of this D wave to the upside, where what we're saying is that this structure could be looking to complete as either a 3-wave move up here towards this 42 to 46, or alternatively this could then become 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and then we could see something like a diagonal playing to the upside. So these are the things that I'm going to be watching out for. Okay, so I'm going to leave the video there. I hope you found it useful. If you did, please smash the like button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, turn on those bell notifications so you never miss a video, and leave us some feedback down below. Also in the description you'll find a link to the Discord. Come check it out, it's free to join. Everyone have a great day. We'll see you in the next one. Take care.